This live stream is working. Y'all can hear my commentary, hear my game, see my review on Monday Night Raw. They're still in a different country. They're in Paris, so the show comes on a little bit earlier. All right, let's give my introduction. Let's talk about this show. Talk about the masses and the news and rumors in WWE. This is Jacob Cast 2024. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, June 8, 2026, the review. We're still in the King and Queen in the ring. We're going to talk about the massive. We'll end the show. We'll talk about the news and rumors in WWE and AEW. My video is sponsored by PlayStation. It's sponsored by JD from New York, Solomon the Sound Off, a Good My Work commissary at Fightful Pro Wrestling in East Salcedo. I got more on the way, so hit that like button, leave a comment. Alright. How did the show start off again? Okay. Alright. Now, I think they said there was a fatal four-way. This opened the show, by the way. We got Liv Morgan, your champion. I believe it would. No, it wasn't Lyra. Actually, it wasn't Charlotte. It was actually Becky. God damn, hold on. Have to do all this, man. All this crap. God damn it. Hold on. I'm trying to show you out the math cards. I can review them and show you who won tonight. Who won today. Yeah, I was doing this review pretty early. They said that this math opened the show. Alright, so, we got this fatal for... And anyone doesn't think... Oh wait, I forgot. I keep forgetting. It's not Charlotte. Who else was on here? I think it was, So Wuka? No, it was, it wasn't Io. I don't think. Alexa Bliss. Alexa and Liv Morgan. So this was the opener on the show. That was the Queen of the Ring for the woman. And then we got Open Family Friends are Dominic and JD McDonough. So we did get a brawl there. I think that came out after. Wait, I think that was the opener. Well, it's too late now. Just do Open Family with a brawl with Dominic. I think what opened the show was Oba and Dominic. They changed word. Then JD McDonough got involved. Oba friends on Dominic and JD, setting up their match for next week. Then we had a Backstage 7 with Jimmy Uso, the Usos and Seth Rollins and Montez Ford. Jacob Fatu refused to do the Uso dirty work. There was no Roman Reigns tonight. Is he on the show next week, or we're gonna wait till after Night Champions? I think we might. Cause he had no opponent for the pay-per-view, so gotta wait till SummerSlam. We also had a Backstage 7 with Chad Gable, Mason Man with Penta, and I think Rey Mysterio. I think Chad Gable's looking to be a babyface. On the way how what we got on the show tonight. Now Chad Gable is setting up to go after the IC champion. Also, we got So Wuka defending her Women's Intercontinental Champion against Lyra Valkyria. and a pretty good match. I think they said it was an open challenge. And I thought it was a very good match. So that match, we got LA Knight in a segment, verbally unload on Jey Uso. They changed some words in that segment. Jacob Jay, one of the bloodline mess. Oh, but he really Jacob fought to the fight Usos. We had Penta and Rey Mysterio. That was for the Intercontinental title. And then the main event was the Fatal 4-Way for the King of the Ring. Alright. And then we got Devon Evans. I don't think they had Ethan Pace on here, so I'll just use Chad Gable. Oh yeah, I forgot it was one of the Tonga, but he's not on the game, so I'll just use someone else. Yeah, I'll just use someone else, because they don't have Tonga on the game. Alright, so there are the masses. Yeah. Alright, so, Seth Rollins eliminated in the King of the Ring by Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker got involved, and Devon Evans got the victory. But that was fine. They're building some storyline. Tonight was about the King of the Ring, and some storylines being developed, but this is a mess, man. The King of the Ring is shit. It's been very disappointing. Nothing made sense. Seeing how things play out. Liv Morgan, I don't know why, for no reason, she won her King of the Ring earlier in the show. Seth Rollins, he lost. He got screwed because of Braun Breaker. They're still continuing the Division Day shit. And Devon Evans, he advanced. But it makes it so predictable. I think Liv Morgan might win and go all the way. I still have hope that doesn't happen. She still has to face someone else next week. Now Oba Femi clearly had to win King of the Ring because it just made sense. He's the only guy believable to go to win King of the Ring and face Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Might as well show y'all some of the podcasters. We got Wrestling Dads here.
At Citizens Private Bank, we believe your attention is best spent on your passions. And then take Liv out. But it turns out that Liv, well, has at least got past that stage. So, are we heading to a Liv Raquel final?
We could.
It is interesting because there was an interesting backstage segment later on this show where Roxanne.
Now, some people think that we could get that this all could lead to a Judgment Day storyline, which I really hope that it's not the case, because who in the hell wants to see that? Seriously, who in the hell wants to see that? I just don't know. I hope it doesn't happen, but if we see Liv Morgan and Raquel in the finals, and if we see Dominic and Finn Balor in the finals, because they want to end the Judgment Day feud, instead of doing it the right way, it could have been Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Why did Braun Breaker lose on Friday? And then Seth Rollins lost because he got screwed because of Braun. They're going to continue their feud, but it's going to be on Raw. Because they're 1-1. You know, Braun got the first win at Backlash. Seth won, I think, last week. And they're 1-1. I thought they were going to pay it off at Night of Champions. It would have been great for the pay-per-view, but they're doing it differently. If they're doing, because they want to focus on the Judgment Day storyline, which is one chord, and Judgment Day is pretty much good dead. Does anyone care about Judgment Day anymore? Guys, sure as hell don't. I hope that it doesn't lead to Liv Morgan and Raquel. Raquel's not someone that should be in the main event scene going after a championship. Maybe Wasan gets involved. If Finn Balor wins on Friday, and if somehow Dominic wins because if Brock Lesnar shows up, because over family still calling out Brock Lesnar, when the way he is, I have a bad feeling about this. We might look at Judgment Day on the pay-per-view. Balor and Dominic, and Raquel and Liv. You got 4 of the Judgment Day and finals of the King and Queen of the Ring. Oh my goodness, I am worried. I am scared. I'm terrified. I have a bad feeling. I don't see Jey Uso winning it. LA Knight's not winning it. Roy Key, he's not ready. But I think Roy Key and Open Family is a big matchup, a great matchup. I am really, really terrified. But seriously, Dominic against Cody Rhodes, a little bit more believable, but he's not going to fade Roman Reigns. That's a waste of time. That is a waste of freaking time. I don't want to see that. No one's interested in that. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but we don't know. If Open Family wins, how's he going to get the Brock Lesnar? You can't have Open Family win King of the Ring, go after Roman Reigns, because he's not going to go to SmackDown, go after Cody Rhodes. Cody's doing something else with Gunther and Sammy. You can't put Ober in that. So it has to be Ober and Roman Reigns, but where's Brock Lesnar? If Brock Lesnar comes back next week and screws him and loses the Dominic, that'll be awful. But if he wins, he can feud with 2 guys at SummerSlam. I mean, he can wrestle Brock on night 1 and then Reigns on night 2, and that'll be a big deal. He beat 2 of the top guys on 2 different nights. But how you gonna have him feud with 2 guys? First feud with Brock and Roman Reigns on one show. I don't know how that's gonna work. So I'm a little worried here. Some people don't like it, some people do. Some people think it's unpredictable if you don't know what's gonna happen. And while that is true, but it's just not the right way. It's about storyline, storytelling. So I can't wait. We'll see what happens on Raw. But I have a bad feeling that they might do. They're going to continue the Judgment Day storyline.
Somebody he doesn't like on the air. You gotta feel like an enormous fucking geek. She would immediately look at her phone. She will.
On his own, Seth not watched his last 3 matches?
No, he doesn't watch product.
Guess not. You can't seem to beat Seth Rollins when it matters most. Listen, you're holding on to a belt that doesn't belong to you. It's the belt I made. It belongs to the visionary, revolutionary. It belongs to Seth freaking Rollins. Later on, Seth goes up to Montez, thanks him for helping out last week, and asks how Dawkins is doing. He looks
living in this ignorance is bliss, Denise.
My thoughts on is ready to get the gold. If you want to be, you could on Monday Night Raw. A good amount of solid matches, good storylines, things moving forward. There's consequences for things. All of that has been working out very nicely. And maybe it's just because they have the tournament. Maybe the tournament is making things feel much bigger, giving you a reason to watch the show, giving you a reason to care. But everything else surrounding it has also been good, even stuff that's not in the tournament.
Yeah, there was a part of me that was worried that the King and Queen of the Ring doesn't matter too much, because, like, when Cody became King of the Ring, like, but why? Cody, you could just ask for a match against Cena. You know, you could push your narrative to get that done. And so when the moment happened when Liv Morgan became the Queen of the Ring when she advanced, I was like, well, that kind of sucks that you lose Becky, you lose Alexa and Chelsea in that opportunity to be made by becoming Queen of the Ring, and now it's going to be Liv. But you got to remember, and I have to remind myself this every now and then, is it makes Liv a better heel. It makes Liv a better champion, because she's going after something that people don't want her to go after. And if she is successful and ends up being Queen of the Ring and goes on to challenge for the SummerSlam title off of Rhea, whoever was at the championship at that time, I think that WWE is willing to put all the eggs in that basket, then create 2 women's storylines, which is it's a bummer at the same time. But that was it. Just, what do you feel about that? Like,
is the Night of Champions the day that they have? Hold the phone here. Is the Night of Champions the day that they have the champion versus the champion?
That was a new tradition that they did.
Or was that Crown Jewel? No, that's Night of Champions, right?
It started off in Crown Jewel to go for the Crown Jewel belt. And then I think Night of Champions had it before, but Triple H tweeted out that all the titles would be on the line at Night of Champions. So.
Okay, so hold on. Does that include the Crown Jewel Championship too?
No,
They're in Saudi?
I think that's different.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Never mind.
Because Crown Jewel,
Wrong Crown Jewel.
the last Crown Jewel was in Pearl. Remember?
Yeah, did they do it on that show? I don't remember if they did it on that show. I think because wasn't it just like a Saudi thing though? Because like they even have the championship belt in Saudi at the WWE Superstore or whatever they have over there.
Yeah, the 2025 did not. It did have Seth Rollins versus Cody.
Okay. Well, anyways, all this to say, here's the thing though. I don't think Liv is actually winning the tournament.
Okay.
And I say that because, okay, if we end up with Liv versus Rhea, come on now. We've seen that so many times. They feuded forever. I don't really feel like that would be all that exciting. And I know people love Liv and Rhea. I love Liv and Rhea. But I do want a little bit of a break. I do want to see them play with other people, and we have been seeing them play with other people, and let's keep doing that. And I do want the Queen of the Ring to also give somebody an opportunity to end up in a situation where it's like, oh shit, you know what, they might get a title shot right now because, you know, the possibilities are still endless. We got Io Sky, who's advanced. We want to see her in the title picture. Raquel Rodriguez, Sancho, you were saying how you wanted to see her get a WrestleMania match earlier this year. Then, we still don't have the winner of, what do you call it? Then we still got Soruka, Lyra Valkyria, Charlotte Flair, and Jade Cargill. We still got that. So what I'm saying is, based off of the pool of selection of women, there's still a lot of selection of where we can go with this Queen of the Ring. It's not like we're stuck with Liv Morgan and jobbers. No, we got a nice pool.
Giannis Antetokounmpo just became the first athlete shareholder of Kalshi, where you can trade on anything from culture to the weather.
But more importantly, I can participate in key corporate decisions while optimizing the company's internal operation and financial. Actually, I'm about to dive in Q1 earnings.
This is a really exciting partnership. Trade on anything with Kalshi.
Auburn, we think, okay, oh my god, there's only a chance for Charlotte and Jade. They're the only blue brand people that can continue on in this tournament.
And that one's a pretty uneven field. Like when I was watching Seth Rollins tonight, I was like,
and the same thing for the men, Sancho. I just realized it.
LA Knight and Jay, and then versus Finn and who's the fourth in that one? Royce. So it's like it kind of takes a lot off the plate. If it's all Raw, then they're gonna go after Roman. It's really weird, like how that plays out. And at the same time, I do find it interesting that when you look at the women's side of things, Charlotte has to keep going, right? She has to advance in that one because who's the other two in that match between Charlotte, Jade, and
Soruka, Lyra, Charlotte, and Jade.
Oh.
There's been some tough ones. I feel like the whole entire Women's Queen of the Ring has been tough in terms of every match, every first round match has had star caliber women featured in it.
Yeah, but in that semifinal, you could have a revisit of Liv Morgan versus Sol Ruka.
What was great about that?
You could.
And I don't know. I just feel like there's so many. My predictions for King Queen of the Ring are completely busted. Dom advancing busted it, and then Javon tonight busted it. We're getting ahead of ourselves, Denise. We got a lot to talk about on this Raw, don't we?
Well, let's start there because I think that's actually the biggest thing was Javon winning and defeating, Seth Rollins, who was a favorite to pick this tournament, and Talatanga and Ricky Saints. Now, there's a lot, because first of all, Dominic Mysterio advancing, when Dominic advanced, that eliminated Braun, and Braun could have also been a selection to move forward. Now, with Javon winning, this eliminates Seth Rollins, and you're thinking, oh shit, well, we all thought it could have ended up being Obafemi versus Seth Rollins. Obafemi and Seth Rollins were the two heavy hitters when it came to who was going to win this tournament. So Here's the two scenarios that can unfold right now, Sancho. One, I think the more likely scenario is Obafemi takes this all the way, which is what I had originally thought, but there was all these question marks surrounding Brock, and we didn't know for sure. But Obafemi could truly take this all the way, clean, easy victory. Or what if there's some crazy world where Brock or something attacks Obafemi or screws Obafemi some way, somehow, and we end up with a totally different, unexpected winner?
It can happen. One thing you can argue that there's a lot of youth moving forward. I tweeted that out, that a lot of the combatants in the semifinals are very young superstars, except for that last slot could be LA Knight. But the only thing about it is, you can't. I think what's another thing that I realized is people could be critical that, oh, dude, yeah, Braun should have been the one that advanced, not Dom, or Seth Rollins should have advanced, not Javon. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say WWE only has its older superstars advance and then be upset when the young superstar advances. I think this makes this tournament very interesting because if Javon gets to the finals, and let's say if Oba or Dom gets there, Dom versus Javon,
So
that's an interesting scenario.
Dynamic.
Like now we're like,
And
okay, anything can happen.
With the
Dom could win,
Dominic
Javon could
Mysterio
win, and I
Reigns.
think people wouldn't be
This is
so
a joke.
upset if one of those wins versus, like, say, if
Everyone
it was
needs
a
to
Rollins
do
in the finals versus an Oba lost, then people would be upset that Seth Rollins. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, which one do you think is far more likely scenario? Because, okay, let's say Obafemi, he does defeat Dominic Mysterio, moves on to the finals. Who is he going to be in the finals against? What is more likely? Is it Javon Evans? Is it Finn Balor? I do not think it's going to be Jey Uso or LA Knight. I think somehow,
They cancel each other out.
Yeah, they cancel each other out in this match. So, truly, I think that it's going to be Javon Evans versus Finn Balor. Personally, I think that's the way to go because that's going to be the best match for that. And then those will be the two best competitors moving forward for one of them to face Obafemi. Because you know if you face Finn Balor, you're going to get a hell of a workhorse type of match. You know if he faces Javon, they have history.
Yeah.
They have history on NXT. So, what option, as of right now, is the most intriguing one? And if somehow, some way, Brock comes out and attacks Obafemi and leaves us with Dominic somehow advancing in this tournament, then I think it would end up with Dominic and Finn Balor. Yeah.
It's interesting because when we had Dom and Finn at WrestleMania, Demon Finn, it didn't have that sauce to it. It felt like it was missing the drama, right?
It took too long, that's why, to get to it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so when we got now again, is it going to be that stakes for you if it is Dom and Finn?
Honestly, not really. I hate to say it, but I don't think I'd be all that interested in it, which is weird because I like both guys, but Finn Balor has already gotten a couple of title shots and it didn't happen for him. And then Dominic, well, you know what? I'd be happy for Dominic. I'd be more so excited to see Dominic win and defeat Finn Balor to get an opportunity. That I would not hate. But I do think if we did see Dominic versus Finn, it would feel more predictable that Dom was winning.
And at the same time, it wouldn't really make the SummerSlam match big. Because then who's Dom going to go after in the scenario? Roman or Cody? Right? You know what I mean? Like, it feels like it's not necessarily a letdown, but definitely, lack of a better word, a downgrade. Because now you have the idea that Oba's going to go ahead and challenge Roman. That is a huge monumental match. But if
that's not really a good match.
You have the Dom, the Finn Balor's, or even the Javon advancing, then I think like the hype for SummerSlam goes down for the championship titles, regardless if it faces Cody and Roman. But again, it is the most like hypocritical thing ever. It's like you're gonna have to have these moments where a young guy gets a shot at the big dog or a big dog, and you can't have it like, well, this feud, it doesn't make sense to have Javon versus.
Because that would make the most excellent vibe, everybody.
Quit. Banger line, right? So many great things happen, right? So many great things.
You know what? I'm done with this. I don't give a damn. There's been so many iterations, I cannot keep track of them.
I don't give a damn about Fauci.
Excellent vibe, everybody.
Mom, what's that?
Nothing. Just get in the car. Let's go. Come on.
Get back to work.
Raquel or get to a match between them without sacrificing the man. I know a lot of people. You wanted some unpredictability. I always hear this from people. Man, everything is so predictable. I already know who's going to win before the tournament's even over. I already know who's going to be in the main event of this show. I know who's going to be in the main event of that show. Well, you can't say that right now when it comes to the King and Queen of the Ring, and more specifically, the King of the Ring tournament, especially not after this episode of Raw. Now, what I'm going to do right now is put up on the screen the current updated bracket for the King of the Ring tournament, and I will direct your attention to the upper right-hand corner, because tonight we had a four-way match. It was Seth Rollins, Javon Evans, Tala Tonga. Bad enough we get the MFTs on Fridays, now we have them on Mondays. And Ricky Saints. And most people would have assumed that Seth Rollins was at least going to the finals, if not winning the entire thing, but oh no. Seth Rollins has been bounced from the King of the Ring tournament thanks to Braun Breaker and The Vision. And going on to the semifinals is the young OG, Javon Evans. And you know what? I love it. I love the unpredictability of this. I love the unpredictability of this, because I agree. So much of what we see now, and so much of what we see on WWE television specifically, is very predictable. That it's nice when they shake things up a little bit like this, and it's good to see Javon Evans pick up a nice unexpected win here. But I also want to point out something else that I realized when this show was over. When I updated the images here, and you'll see here in a moment because I'm going to show you the Queen of the Ring as well. There you go. I want you guys to take a look at what you see on your screen right now with the Queen of the Ring tournament. What is the common thread here with these tournaments? I want you to look. We have Liv Morgan, who advanced tonight. She's going on to the semifinals. Io Sky, Raquel Rodriguez. Now I'm going to bring up the King of the Ring. Oba Femi, Dominic Mysterio, Javon Evans. Not a single SmackDown star has advanced so far in either tournament. SmackDown's like the Cavaliers. They are being shut out. Possibly even like the Spurs. I'm not looking to jinx anything. But they have been swept so far. There is not a single representative of SmackDown that has made it into the semifinal round of either of these tournaments. And what that tells me, as we look at the bottom right hand of your screen right now in the King of the Ring bracket, on Friday night, this coming Friday, it's going to be Jey Uso, LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor. And they were making a big deal on TV last week that Finn Balor is making his SmackDown debut this coming Friday, because he's been traded from Raw to SmackDown. I look at that match on Friday and I say, how could it be anybody other than a member of the SmackDown roster? I mean, how ridiculous would it be if they just had all Raw talents go over in this tournament? A SmackDown star has to win on Friday. You will completely bury SmackDown if Royce Keys or Finn Balor does not make it to the next round of this tournament. And I would be cool, honestly, with either one of them. I'd be fine with either one of them winning. I do think there is a pathway here for Finn Balor to win. You have Dominic Mysterio, by the way, on the other side of the bracket. How funny would it be if we end up with a Balor and Dom final in the King of the Ring tournament? I'm not saying I want to see that, but we have the possibility that we could very well see Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio meet yet again, even though we've already seen it. That is now a potential final for the King of the Ring tournament. Are we looking at a scenario where Finn Balor is going to get a renewed push on SmackDown? He actually wins the crown, King Balor, and he gets to choose the champion, which of course would be Cody Rhodes, because they just traded him to SmackDown. He's not going to challenge Roman Reigns. Could we get Finn Balor and Cody Rhodes as the WWE Championship match at SummerSlam? I mean, it seems so unlikely. If you just look at the path that Balor's career has taken over the last several years, it is almost impossible for me to conceive that they would look at that as a WWE Championship match on a big stadium show like SummerSlam. I can't rule it out. If they're serious about pushing Finn Balor, that would certainly be one way to do it. He still has a lot of fans out there who were hoping for a world title run. I had already given up on the idea. I mean, can you blame me? We haven't been given any sort of indication that they're serious about pushing him as a world champion. Why would I expect him to win King of the Ring and go on to main event SummerSlam? But we could see Royce Keys go on. It could be Royce Keys and Javon Evans in the next round. And then maybe we end up with Obafemi and Royce Keys. And what a final that would be. It's just, again, it has thrown everything into a state of disarray here where you want to look at this bracket and you just say, how can anybody other than Obafemi walk away with the crown here? But we had Obafemi on TV tonight talking about Brock Lesnar yet again, calling him a big bad bitch. So if Brock Lesnar, who just beat this man, did not have a real reason to want to extract some measure of revenge on him, I would say Obafemi going out there on live television and calling him a bitch, that might aggravate Brock Lesnar a little bit. It is still possible Brock Lesnar could screw Obafemi out of the crown. So it is not a foregone conclusion that he's going to win. But at this moment, as we sit here, you really look at it and go, how could it be anybody other than Oba? But it almost doesn't make any sense. He's still out there talking about Brock. You've got this big SummerSlam show coming up in Minneapolis. You have to imagine Brock is going to have a match on that show. And the only match that makes sense for Brock the next time we see him in the ring, it's not Gunther, it's not anybody. It's the man that is on television talking about him and insulting him. So the next time we see him, it will be against Obafemi. I cannot imagine a SummerSlam show in Minneapolis without having Brock Lesnar in the ring on that show. So if they're going to do Oba and Brock, that would seem to rule him out. But this is what I'm talking about when it comes to like the unpredictability element of it. This could go any number of ways. Maybe it goes another unpredictable way that we're not even thinking of, where you have somebody like a Javon Evans who goes all the way to the finals and ends up getting bounced before he even makes it to the ring. And then they slot somebody else in there that we're not even thinking about. Drew McIntyre still hasn't come back yet. Randy Orton still hasn't come back yet. They could pull a fast one on us and actually substitute one of those guys in the finals for somebody who gets bounced. Maybe they get attacked off camera. There's anything that could happen here. But I like it. I like the unpredictable element of what we're seeing here. I think is a good thing. Now let me bring up the Queen of the Ring bracket again. Again, all Raw stars so far. Liv Morgan, Io Sky, Raquel Rodriguez. Liv Morgan picked up a win tonight. She will meet the winner of the match now coming up, I believe it's this Friday, between Charlotte Flair, Jade Cargill, Lyra Valkyria, and Sol Ruca, the two of whom had an Intercontinental title match tonight. And again, I look at this and how can I sit here and in my head picture an entire bracket of just nothing but Raw talents without burying the women's division on SmackDown? How do you do that without burying your women's division on SmackDown? Well, the two SmackDown women are Charlotte Flair and Jade Cargill. Of those two, it would seem a hell of a lot more likely that if we were going to get Liv Morgan against somebody, it would be Charlotte Flair and not Jade Cargill. I don't think anybody's asking for Liv Morgan against Jade Cargill. So to me, the chances of Charlotte winning just went up that much more. Because you got to get somebody in there from that SmackDown side. I mean, it's so lopsided right now. It's just almost unbelievable. So this is where things stand right now in terms of the two tournaments. But to go back to Oba for a second, there was nobody on this show in Paris who was more over than Obafemi. The reaction he got from the moment he walked out there until the moment he went to the back was unlike anything I saw anybody else getting on this show. The only thing that might have rivaled it if he was there would have been Roman Reigns, and he was not there. Roman will be back on the show in Baltimore next week. Remember, next week is the big Baltimore stop. We started the month in Italy. Tonight it was Paris, France. We still have London, England coming up in a couple of weeks, but next week it's Baltimore. So that is when Roman Reigns will be back on the show. Now we also had two Intercontinental title matches on this show. Rey Mysterio challenging Penta, and we had Sol Ruca in her first defense against Lyra Valkyria, so we're going to talk about that. The Chad Gable Apology Tour, which started on SmackDown this past Friday, continued here on this show. And he actually got in the ring and did some stuff. We'll talk about Gable. So there was a lot going on, which is good. I like it when there's a lot going on. It makes the shows a lot more palatable. That and having a hot-ass crowd like Paris. Hat tip to, I don't have my hat on, but hat tip to Paris. We got a great crowd here for this show. We also have some news, because it was announced earlier today that Money in the Bank, man, it has been bounced around more than a rubber ball. So Money in the Bank originally was going to be at the end of August, and then it was moved to the beginning of September. It is now moved again. There's no guarantee it won't move for a fourth time. Money in the Bank will now take place, instead of on a Sunday, it will take place on a Saturday, October 10th, in New Orleans. That's the make good for New Orleans not getting WrestleMania this year. Hardly a comparable make good. But I think they're supposed to get WrestleMania at some point down the line. So Money in the Bank moved, and there's a lot of people asking, well, why would they do this? Why was the show moved? Oh, there's other events going on that weekend. Whatever the reason was, they made another announcement on Raw tonight. There will be an event on Sunday, September 6th. It just won't be Money in the Bank. Instead, it will be Saturday night's main event, which is on a Sunday. So in the logo, they literally put a little X over Saturday and wrote the word Sunday in above it. It will be a special edition of Sunday night's main event. They have replaced Money in the Bank with Sunday night's main event, which will be airing on Peacock. So that will be on Sunday, September 6th. Are you keeping track of all this? Good. Because it may end up changing again. So that was the big news of the day. And that event on the 6th will be taking place at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. We got a lot to get into, so let's talk about it here. It is now 5 o'clock on a Monday. This is your Raw review. I am the Solid Monster. It is Monday night, June 8th, 2026. I know it's a little earlier than usual, but for those of you who are with me, salute. I appreciate it. They opened the show with the ruler, Obafemi, making his way to but he said, Paul Heyman, he doesn't believe in predictions. Dom suggests that Oba makes it easy for himself. Apparently you can pick the champion that you want to wrestle. I would imagine the match would be Roman Reigns against Obafemi and not Obafemi against Cody Rhodes. But this is the way the bracket looks as of this moment. Jackie Redmond. She's been out. She's been on assignment, I think NHL duties. But she was back. She was backstage with Seth Rollins. And Morgan went for Oblivion. Bliss, though, held onto the ropes. Right, we could get King Dom and Queen Liv, and so all of a sudden her winning here in this round seemed a little more likely. There was no sign of Stephanie Vicaire, who supposedly is medically cleared. They're just waiting to reintroduce her. I thought maybe it would happen here, but there was no Stephanie. She still may show up. She may show up in the next round. So without her showing up in this match, Liv wasn't losing. I mean, Liv is the women's world champion. Unless somebody shows up and screws her out of a win, she wasn't losing this match. So we're looking at Liv Morgan against Charlotte Flair. Let me bring the bracket up again. We're looking at this in the next round. Liv Morgan against Charlotte Flair, Jade Cargill, Sol Ruca, or Lyra Valkyrie. Now that match is going to be taking place on SmackDown this coming Friday. To me, I look at this, and it's either Charlotte or Lyra. I would actually not rule out Lyra, who was not successful tonight in her title bid against Sol Ruca, but I would not count her out for at least moving on to the next round before she gets bounced. But again, it's so lopsided right now in favor of Monday Night Raw. You gotta have one of these SmackDown stars move. You have to. It's just such a burial of that division if they don't. And Jade against Liv, I can't imagine that being the next round match. So to me, this just makes a Charlotte Flair win that much more likely. I think we get Charlotte and Liv in the next round. And at that point, honestly, a lot of it depends on what happens in the Io and Raquel match next week. Are they setting up for a Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez all Judgment Day final? To me, that would be very lame. You just put the Judgment Day, who are both heels, by the way, and you put both of them in the finals. There are ways for you to tell the story with Liv and Raquel or get to a match between them without sacrificing the entire fucking tournament to get there. I don't like that. I want Io in the finals of this thing. Whether it's Io and Liv or Io and Charlotte. I think that's the final that we're looking at here in this tournament, just because we got to get somebody from SmackDown in there. Maybe not in the finals, but we got to get somebody in there from SmackDown. I'm sorry. Now, they pitched it to a video package after this, hyping up tonight's the men's Intercontinental title match between Penta and Rey Mysterio. They both like each other. They both respect each other, blah, blah, blah. So then we go live backstage. Penta is warming up, and a wild Chad Gable appears. And he's in his gear. And he says, you know, Phoenix said some stuff to him last week on SmackDown that really got him thinking. He kind of went nuts last year after he lost to Penta. It really all started there, he said. Because he lost to Penta in Penta's debut match in January of last year on Monday Night Raw. And so that's kind of where this whole downward spiral for him began. He took the loss like a coward, and now he wanted to look Penta in the eye and apologize. And Penta said, look, I love everything about Lucha Libre. Rhea, they have Liv, and they have, they have, is it Tiffany? Might be Tiffany Stratton. But there's no Roman Reigns on the posters, so he will not be in Riyadh either for Night of Champions. We had Sol Ruca against Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Sol nailed a missile drop kick from the middle rope late in the match, and then on a springboard attempt, coming back into the ring. Lyra cut her off. Sol ended up draped, just kind of hanging there over the top rope. And that allowed Lyra to hit a drop kick off the middle rope right across the neck. Sol flipped out of a tornado DDT attempt on the landing. Barry. Barry, what's going on? Thank you for the $15 Scream for Kyrie super chat. Thank you, sir. I'm going to be reading all your messages in a little bit, so get them on in. It's a rare live for Olivia as well. Bulgaria is off. Oh, you're in Bulgaria? Well, I haven't gotten to Rusev yet. Rusev was on the show. See, we got people from all over the world that tune into these things. You forget that sometimes, like in their time zones, they can't make the usual live streams. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, I would still expect you to be here, but I get it. I understand. I'm just saying, if you were a real fan, 4:30 in the morning, that's no excuse. Anyway. So Lyra then blocked an X Factor with her hands before her face smashed into the mat. She kind of did a handstand as a counter. She tried for Nightwing, no dice on that. Then Lyra blocked a Soul Snatcher attempt. And then they did this spot where Lyra threw a kick that missed. Soul moved out of the way. And Lyra got her foot caught up in the ropes right near the corner, which allowed Soul to hit the Soul Snatcher. And she pinned her, and she retained the championship. I thought it was a solid enough match here for the 7 or so minutes that they got. I thought it was a nice first title defense for Soul. Talking about the family, but unlike them, marching down to the ring. Before he could get to the ring, though, Jimmy he sprints down and he stops him from getting inside, and that's how things concluded here. So they are continuing this story with LA Knight in the Bloodline. It is leading somewhere. At least they have him in a story. Because as he was saying in that interview he did last week with Chris Van Vliet, the reason that some of his reactions have diminished, and honestly, I don't think his reactions have diminished. But in his mind, I guess, he's in the arenas and he feels maybe in some cities anywhere that it's not quite as loud or as intense as they used to be. And he credits that to the fact that he is a man kind of without a country. He's on these shows, and sometimes he has no real sense of direction. So it's hard to really get behind it. They are going to have, they're going to work the Maxine stuff in here. And have a situation where Gable almost ends up like the concerned father. Like his daughter is dating somebody he doesn't approve of, and we end up with, Gable feuding with or having a match with Austin Theory. No, let's not go there. If they're going to have him in one segment as like a one-off, go ahead and apologize to Otis and all of them, fine. It should not be more than that. I do not want Chad Gable to reassociate himself with Alpha Academy. That'd be like the worst thing they could do. Okay, it's beneath him at this point. So if you want to have him apologize, go ahead and get it over with, and then let him move on to other things. Please do not resume the relationship with him and Alpha Academy. I don't want to see him on screen with Alpha Academy week in and week out. It's the worst thing you can do. He's got a good thing going right now. It's far above the level that Alpha Academy is at right now. But then we wanted to set up Chad Gable to be the one to do it. Chad looks over, he sees the mask laying on the floor. And he's staring at it, and he's thinking about it, he's pondering things. So he goes over and he picks up the mask, hands it back over to them. They put the mask back on Ray's head. And it's just mutual respect between Chad Gable and the Luchadors. So that was nice. It was, again, what I saw of the match, I can't say it was, the best thing ever. I only saw part of the match. What I saw was good. I like the post-match. I like what they're doing with Chad Gable. Keep it up. Keep it up. Do not squander the opportunity that you have here to really make a star out of Chad Gable. You've had this man in your stable. You've had him under contract for 10 years. Actually, it might be more than that. It might be like 11 or 12. But the American Alpha run was like 2015, NXT. How long he was under contract with them before that, who knows? It may go all the way back to 2012 or 2013. I don't know when he first signed. But they've had him for over a decade, okay? And he's a great fucking wrestler. But he's not just a great wrestler. He's been a babyface. He's been a heel. When he was still a babyface, and he was having those matches with Gunther, and he never won, and there was an opportunity there to put the Intercontinental title on him and his daughter in the front row and everything, crying. Remember when he lost and she was crying? There was such a great opportunity that they didn't take it. They turned him heel. And he could be a great heel, a vicious heel, a comedy heel. He can play whatever role you need him to play. But what you saw in that AAA match last weekend, that's a guy right there who can be pushed at a main event level. Now, I'm not expecting them, honestly, to push him into the World Heavyweight Championship picture right now. And you don't have to. What you need to do is take advantage of the situation and start pushing him as a guy who the fans can look at as a top star. Not just a middle-of-the-card, lower-card comedy guy. Take him seriously as a potential main eventer. They just brought him back to TV. So far, so good. We'll see where it goes. I talked about this on Sunday. Minneapolis, SummerSlam, that's his hometown. He was born in Minneapolis. It is the perfect place to have him and Penta wrestle and have him win the Intercontinental Championship. But whatever they have him doing on that show, he needs to A, be on the show, and B, it has to be in a match that has some significance. Do not drop the ball.
Do not drop the ball with Chad Gable.
This guy could be something special.
Chad
we don't have to make comparisons and say, oh, well, he's not Obafemi. He's not, he doesn't have the size of an Obafemi, or he's not going to be Cody. He doesn't have to be.
Now you can do a multi-way match.
I'm not comparing him to anybody else. I'm just saying Chad Gable.
Chad Gable should win that fucking title.
The guy's one of one. Don't have a lot of guys like him on the roster. May not be the biggest guy. But there is no reason that you cannot push him as a main event caliber talent. That's on Triple H and the creative team to make it happen. Fans are reacting well to him so far, though. Then we go backstage. Roxanne Perez was chatting with Liv Morgan about how, you know what, you're right. Was only thinking about myself last week when I was upset. This is after she failed to win in her Queen of the Ring match. Instead of looking at the bigger picture. She wants either Liv or Raquel to go on to win because a win for one is a win for all. Of course, does Liv Morgan feel that way? Probably not. And if the two of you face each other, she says, then, well, we can't lose. So Dom and JD McDonough show up, and Liv says, look, I have a plan for next week. I guess, for Dom's match with Oba. So they walk off to go discuss it. Liv tells Roxanne, come. And she says, I'll catch up with you guys later. And she flashes a very suspicious look. She's plotting. She's plotting something. What it is, I don't know, but it's probably not good for Liv Morgan. What is the Be the Booker goal? Well, the Be the Booker goal is 300. That is a goal that I picked because, unfortunately, the wheel, as you can see, the wheel has malfunctioned. The wheel is not showing up, so...
OMG, y'all. Travelers swear by this one trick. What's up with Mom?
She's been scrolling
on the stream. If LA not get out your house, we're doing. summer months, man. That's what we need to concern ourselves with. Run-of-the-mill, formulaic, simple-minded garbage. You don't need the tournament to play any of this stuff out. This all could have been done away from the tournament. This all could have been done with Liv Morgan's title run. We didn't need the tournament to be given to the Judgment Day to play out the Judgment Day story while abandoning what the King and Queen of the Ring tournament should really be about. It's either about A, building up the best matches because of the best talent wanting the World Championship title match at SummerSlam, or B, using the tournament to forward a young up-and-coming star and give them the platform that it did for Stone Cold Steve Austin and everybody else that won it in previous years. Triple H, so on and so forth. Owen Hart, so on and so forth. WWE have abandoned the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments for simple-minded storyline progression. We don't need the tournament to play out these storylines. I'm less interested in the women. I don't care. I don't care where they go. What I'm kind of perturbed by is the men's bracket. And I'm going to pull up the men's bracket here because we need a visual here, as you guys will see here coming up. We got the updated brackets for the... There I am. Hey, how you guys doing, man? I'm in the finals. I'm going to the finals, man. I'm not going to Saudi, so I forego my tournament final to Obafemi. So as you guys see here, this is the tournament bracket, and I was looking forward to seeing how they would play this out. In the main event tonight, we got Seth Rollins, Siobhan Evans, Tala Tonga. Don't know what Tala Tonga has to do with a World Heavyweight Championship or a WWE Championship opportunity, but, you know, he's in the Bloodline story. He's in the MFT, so they got to give at least one MFT some shine here. They gave Solo Sikoa shine on the opposite side. Tala Tonga and Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints. Now, this was a slam dunk, no doubt about it. This is easy as pie. Seth Rollins win, right? That's what everybody predicted. That's what everybody thought was going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, that did not happen. Seth Rollins did not advance, as you see there. Siobhan Evans is now in the semifinals, and he awaits the winner of Friday's quarterfinal match in Rhode Island. That will be Jey Uso, LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor. Now, on the other side of the tournament, you see there, Obafemi advanced over Penta, Solo Sikoa, and Carmelo Hayes. He's in the semifinals. No shocker there. And Dominic Mysterio upset Braun Breaker, Trick Williams, and Damian Priest. He meets Obafemi next week on Raw in the semifinals. That will be in Baltimore. Now, by the looks of this tournament, you would think that Obafemi is a absolute 100% slam dunk for the final. I don't know how they cost Obafemi this match, unless Brock Lesnar wants to show up in Baltimore. I don't think it is a good idea to have Obafemi pinned by Dominic Mysterio, but stranger things have happened. This would have all been okay if Brock Lesnar did not win at Clash in Italy. It actually would have made things a lot easier moving forward. You could have given Obafemi a huge upset loss by outside interference by Brock Lesnar by having Dominic pin him. You could have given him a countdown loss. Things would have made a lot more sense if Brock Lesnar lost to Obafemi and then went on the warpath, costing Obafemi the King of the Ring crown. Now, a lot of people are still running with that. A lot of people are still running with that narrative. I could see it play out. I mean, we've talked about it for weeks. I don't know when WWE is going to pull the trigger, whether it's going to be in Baltimore, whether it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. Does WWE want to fly Brock Lesnar all the way to Saudi Arabia just to cost Obafemi the King of the Ring final? Does Brock Lesnar want to fly all the way to Saudi Arabia just to put in 3 minutes of work? I don't think that's economical. If I'm Brock Lesnar, I don't want to do that. Maybe it happens next week. Now, I will say this. Is Dominic Mysterio completely out to lunch here? Is he just 0% chance of winning next week? The answer is no. There is a small, and I mean a very minuscule chance.
Let's see that again. She opens the Gemini app. She needs a spotless expense report here.
Small Dominic Mysterio in the final of the King of the Ring tournament, but there is a chance that he could go to the final. Now, if Dominic does advance, who's the best course of action? Could it be Royce Keys? Could it be Finn Balor? Could it be LA Knight? Could it be Jey Uso? I don't think Javon Evans is going to the final. I don't. I think he loses to whoever is going to come out of this match on Friday. Could they do Dominic and Finn Balor? I hope not. Do you really want to make the entire fucking Queen and King of the Ring all about the Judgment Day and former Judgment Day? Dominic Mysterio against Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes? Not a chance in hell. Finn Balor versus Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns? Not a chance in hell. I do not look at either of those matches as a King of the Ring winner going to SummerSlam and wrestling any one of those guys. That's not a SummerSlam match to me. It's not. Neither one of those matches are SummerSlam matches. Plus, you don't want to make all of the King of the Ring tournament about the Judgment Day because the women's is all about the Judgment Day. Again, we didn't need all of this to play out in the tournament. You could have did this away from the tournament. Obafemi, you would think by looking at this, needs to go to the final now. By looking at this, Obafemi needs to win the fucking tournament. But we have a problem. He's again mentioned Brock Lesnar. He wants Brock Lesnar's head on a stake. He wants the head of Brock Lesnar after he wins the King of the Ring. Now, I don't know what they plan on doing there. WWE has Saturday night's main event. That's at Madison Square Garden. You're going to need a big fucking match for Madison Square Garden. This is the first time since I think its revival they've gone back to Madison Square Garden. Do they do Oba winning the King of the Ring, beating Brock Lesnar at Madison Square Garden, and then going on to SummerSlam to wrestle either Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns? Again, it's possible. It's possible. But if Brock Lesnar is going into SummerSlam, and SummerSlam is theoretically his last match, you want to give Oba that win in Minneapolis and then have him retire Brock Lesnar for a second time, this one being official. But then that means he shouldn't win the King of the Ring. I've seen options out there saying that Obafemi could win the King of the Ring, he could wrestle Brock Lesnar on one night and then go wrestle the other guy on the other night. No. Why? You want Obafemi to wrestle Brock and the world champion at SummerSlam on night 1 and night 2? That doesn't make any sense. Man, you're really strapping the fucking rocket to him then at that point. By the looks of what we see here, Obafemi should win this fucking tournament. There is nobody in this tournament that is a believable win over Obafemi outside maybe Royce Keys, but Royce Keys hasn't been booked like Obafemi's booked. So even by his size and him equaling the strength of Obafemi, the way he's been booked is not going to be on level with him beating Obafemi. If Oba goes to the finals, who does he meet in the finals? Jey Uso? LA Knight? Royce Keys? Royce Keys is a part of this bloodline story. Maybe Royce Keys wins the fucking tournament. Maybe he goes and gets Roman Reigns. I have no fucking clue. None of these are SummerSlam main events. None of them. None of them.
I don't know.
The kicker here is, Roman has absolutely no opponents on Monday night that are credible opponents for his World Heavyweight Championship. None. None. And you can throw LA Knight out there all you want. It is fucking pointless. It is pointless. If LA Knight wins this tournament, if LA Knight goes to the finals and wrestles Obafemi, and Brock Lesnar costs Obafemi and LA Knight by some fucking weird situation gets into the SummerSlam main event to challenge Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship, do you genuinely think anything is going to come of that is going to make you excited? No. No. LA Knight and Roman Reigns is the last thing that we want. It's going to result in a Roman Reigns win. I don't look at it as a SummerSlam main event. We've been there, done that. And WWE has shown you absolutely fuck all about them pushing LA Knight to a World Heavyweight Championship. Not going to happen. I would legitimately be floored. Shocked. I'd wear a fucking Mets hat on the stream if LA Knight won the King of the Ring and beat Roman Reigns to become the new World Heavyweight Championship. That following Monday, I'll wear a fucking Mets hat on stream. I'll film myself going to buy one at fucking the Roosevelt Field Mall on Long Island. And I'll fucking wear a Mets hat right here on stream. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Chat, do you know that Roman Reigns told Jey Uso to go win this tournament, to go and wrestle for the other championship at SummerSlam? If Seth Rollins and this is the way that I'm looking at it. If Seth Rollins won this match tonight, he'd undoubtedly have to beat Obafemi in the finals. How do we do that? How do we do that without the Brock Lesnar aspect? It doesn't happen. If that was the finals, if that was the predicted finals by many people after 1 week of this tournament, why would Brock Lesnar show up to cost Obafemi, the King of the Ring, when A, there's no reason for him to do that because he's got to win over Obafemi, and why would he, who's a Paul Heyman guy, help someone that Paul Heyman's been feuding with for months? All 2026. It didn't make any sense. So they took Rollins out of the equation. They may run that same play, but with somebody else. And I genuinely think we're looking at Jey Uso in the finals. We're looking at Jey Uso, Javon Evans next week. We're looking at Jey Uso going to the finals. And we're looking at Obafemi being screwed out of the King of the Ring by Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar shows up, screws Obafemi out of the King of the Ring. Jey Uso wins the tournament. Jey Uso gets Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Seth Rollins needs to wrestle Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. He needs to. Who else is on that show? Who else is on that roster that is going to give SummerSlam a Monday Night Raw World Heavyweight Championship main event? The answer is no one. Obafemi's that guy, but you've now mentioned Brock Lesnar twice in the last 2 weeks. You can't do Brock and Roman in the same weekend. It's either one or the other. Or if they want to do Brock and Oba at Madison Square Garden, like I said, maybe Brock gets Gunther at SummerSlam, and maybe we really go back and do that. But then what are you going to do? You're going to have Brock Lesnar lose to Obafemi and Gunther back-to-back shows? I don't think Brock wants to wrestle Gunther, and I don't think Brock is going to take...
Introducing Mike's Lemons. 3 unique characters, 1 unmatched flavor.
You have to be quite the go-getter when you're running your own business. Doesn't hurt if you have the Google Fi phone plan, too. I get an...
We gotta wait to see what happens.
WWE Championship.
Well,
We may be looking at it.
Well, there's no one on SmackDown. Probably in the tag
And if WWE, if Triple H goes with Jey Uso winning this fucking tournament, I don't want to be around to see the nuclear bomb that is going to be social media. Nobody wants to see Jey Uso win the fucking tournament. You've booked LA Knight into oblivion. You've booked LA Knight like shit. Nobody believes LA Knight's going to beat Roman Reigns. Nobody. Nobody. LA Knight has been so insignificant on the show that him in any main event doesn't feel like a main event. He's even said it himself. He's a man without a country. They have lowballed him so much that he feels his reactions in the United States, not tonight, in the United States have lessened. They've weakened because of WWE's inept creative team. They haven't done anything with LA Knight. Nobody in this tournament outside of Obafemi is a worthy opponent for Roman Reigns. And I don't see them doing Obafemi and Roman Reigns, being that you've already put it out there that Oba and Brock is your likely direction. You can't do both. You gotta do one or the other. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns is still on the card. It is. It has to be. They opted to do Rollins tonight losing because of Braun Breaker. What are we going to sit here and do? Go through another 7 weeks of Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker to play that out at SummerSlam? Brother, if you're going to do that for the next 7 weeks, man, consider that feud fucking dead before we get to SummerSlam. Nobody cares. You're riding that one on fumes as it is. You do that at Saturday night's main event, get it over with, and have him challenge Roman Reigns for the World's Heavyweight Championship. Move the fuck on. I cannot see Obafemi winning this tournament. I can't. Unless you are going all the way with him and having him win the World's Heavyweight Championship, I just don't see it happening. But Brock Lesnar, you mentioned Brock Lesnar last week, you mentioned Brock Lesnar again this week. The more you continue to fucking say his name, he is going to appear when you least expect it. So no matter if it's Javon Evans, LA Knight, Jey Uso, Finn Balor, or Royce Keys, Obafemi's not making it to SummerSlam. Javon Evans is not making it out of that second round. Royce Keys has a chance. LA Knight has a chance. Jey Uso is the odds-on favorite. Jey Uso is, in my opinion, the guy that's going to win this tournament because of Brock Lesnar. I don't like it. I don't like it. You had one fucking job. The problem with this tournament is WWE is trying to be different. WWE is trying to be risky. They're trying to be unpredictable. But what they really did here is bypass an Obafemi and Braun Breaker match in the semifinals. Why are we so afraid to give big matches away? Why are we so afraid? Would it have killed you to do Obafemi and Braun Breaker in the semifinals and give the product something that it desperately needs, and that is fucking excitement? Do you know how exciting an Obafemi and Braun Breaker match would have ended up being on Monday Night Raw? Probably riddled with fucking commercials. Probably 7 minutes of fucking commercials in between the goddamn fucking 3-segment match. But do you know how exciting that would have been? WWE opted to bypass that and put Dominic Mysterio in there and make a mockery of this entire left side of the tournament. Then they opted to take Rollins out of the equation and put Javon Evans in there. The optics of it are, look, WWE's pushing their future. Javon Evans don't stand a fucking chance in this tournament. Javon Evans ain't going to the finals, and Javon Evans ain't going to SummerSlam. No matter how you put it. So sure, they're kind of moving their chess pieces forward on the chessboard, but they ain't gonna fucking overtake the king and the queen. So what's the point? You opted to take Rollins out of the equation because of Braun Breaker. would it have been so bad to do Breakker and Rollins in the finals? You're trying to get to the place you want to be by taking the most convoluted way. If you want to do Reigns and Rollins, why don't you just take the easiest route there and have Rollins win the King of the Ring? You want Oba and Brock? Have Brock cost Oba the fucking tournament. Brock does what he wants, right? Everybody, all these years I've been told Brock does what he wants. Have him go out there and fucking be animalistic. He don't gotta listen to the vision. He don't gotta listen to Paul Heyman. Have him do what the fuck he wants to do. Roman Reigns would take care of Rollins anyway. It's Brock and Oba. Brock wants Oba. He's the only one that is in this Oba realm. He wants to take him out. He wants to end him once and for all because he feels like the beast incarnate is threatened by another larger ruler. The problem with this tournament is it's not unpredictable. Javon Evans winning tonight isn't unpredictable. Dominic Mysterio winning on Friday isn't unpredictable. It's fucking garbage. They're trying to portray different. Look, we're not safe. But it doesn't make any fucking sense. To do what? Give me Jey Uso? LA Knight? Royce Keys? It's either Oba wins this thing and goes all the way to win the World Heavyweight Championship, or Brock Lesnar fucks him over and we get Oba and Brock 3 at SummerSlam, and Roman and Rollins have their match at SummerSlam. So what exactly are you trying to do here? What we don't want is Cody versus Uso, Roman Reigns versus LA Knight. Neither one of those are SummerSlam matches. Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns, Finn Balor versus Cody, not gonna work. Royce Keys versus Cody, Royce Keys versus Roman, not gonna work. LA Knight, not gonna work. Jey Uso, he wins the tournament, he's not wrestling Roman, he'll go wrestle Cody. Oba and Roman, Oba and Cody. This is another aspect that I don't think people are talking about. Oba and Cody. If Oba wins the tournament, he can go and challenge Cody Rhodes. It doesn't necessarily have to be Roman Reigns. Maybe Cody's world title run isn't threatened by a Sami Zayn or a Gunther or a CM Punk. Maybe it's Oba Femi. Is it possible that Oba wins the tournament and goes and wrestles Cody Rhodes? That means he would have to get Brock Lesnar before SummerSlam. And with SummerSlam being in Minneapolis, and there's ties to Minneapolis with Brock Lesnar, I just don't see it happening. That's the one big holdup. Oba, Brock, SummerSlam, Minneapolis. You put it out there. I mean, Brock even said it at the end of Clash in Italy. 1 + 1 is 2. Thank you. I didn't know that, Mr. Lesnar. Clearly, they've been building towards a third match. Soon as the second match ended, they were building towards the third match. You can't do Oba and the championship and then Oba and Lesnar in the same weekend. It's got to be one or the other. And the fact that this show is taking place in Minneapolis and Lesnar has ties to Minneapolis, I just don't see them not doing that there. I don't want to set you guys up for the ultimate disappointment. We genuinely may be looking at Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes for the WWE title.
No, you should be able to recommend
Michelob Ultra Zero, official beer sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
So, what is Oba Femi doing at SummerSlam? Oba Femi doing at SummerSlam? We fucked up. We have fucked up.
We should take care of him. Saying that the World Heavyweight Championship is now the 8 Championship. Bro, they've been teasing this shit. They've been teasing it. How do we move on from the summer into the fall with Cody as the WWE Champion? You give him people that nobody expect to beat Cody Rhodes. This is a far cry from the Cody and CM Punk match that I have wanted for months now. We may be looking at Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes in the SummerSlam main event. And if that is the case, chat, if that is the case, There needs to be some sort of fucking movement that rattles Triple H, Nick Khan, and all of TKO. That would be the absolute worst fucking booking that Triple H has done since he's taken over. Everybody thought that we had moved on from this. And now he's risking going back to it again to do Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes? I know everybody wants Oba to win the King of the Ring, and I know everybody wants Oba to be the World's Heavyweight Champion. But man, there are a lot of fucking steps to go through to make that happen. One big mountain is right in the middle of all those plans, and that is Brock Lesnar. I just can't see it happening. Unless they bypass this Lesnar stuff and get it out of the way before SummerSlam, I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. I just don't see them doing this before SummerSlam. I don't. That's the King of the Ring. That's the King of the Ring stuff. I don't know how you guys are feeling about it, but it's not looking good right now, chat. It's not looking good. Liv Morgan won her Queen of the Ring quarterfinal. We'll talk about that. I mean, I wouldn't have even put her in the tournament to begin with. 52 days without defending the World's Heavyweight Championship. She's already halfway through Jade Cargill's record of not defending the WWE Women's Championship on Friday at 104 days. Did we really need the tournament to play out Liv Morgan's desires to have Judgment Day hold all the women's championships? How about defending the fucking title on Monday night? How about setting up a feud? Oh, I wish we could do that, but everybody else is tied up with the IC title or in a fucking tag team, battling over the worthless tag team titles. Rey Mysterio and Penta tonight for the Intercontinental Championship. Sol Ruca and Lyra Valkyria tonight for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We'll talk about it, including Chad Gable and his redemption tour, where he is now on this apology spree to all the luchas. But Rey Mysterio gave him one more piece of advice. You said you're sorry and apologized to all of us for mocking the art of lucha libre. There are others that I genuinely think you need to go and find and also apologize to. We'll talk about that, and WWE bringing back Chad Gable as a major figure for the Intercontinental Championship. All this tonight on your Monday Night Raw post show. It is June 8th, 2026. Thank you guys very much for joining me here. Opted to go live earlier because I want nothing to do with the basketball game. The basketball game's gonna happen at 8:30 tonight. Tip-off is around that time. I know I usually go live around 11. I don't want to be in the middle of this. So I want to get it out of the way, especially for my UK guys, my UK men and women who watch the show. You guys get an early stream and you guys can actually watch this before you go to bed. So it works out for everybody. Plus, it'll be on demand. You guys can watch the game tonight and you can cycle back to the review if you want to catch up on what I had to say. So hopefully it all works out for everybody. But thank you guys for being here, man. We got 1,700 people in here on this happy hour Monday afternoon. Oh, wonderful here in Paris. I would love to blood. Without the bloodline, they don't know how to run television. These people are incapable of running Monday and Friday night without the bloodline. Everything they do revolves around the bloodline. Do you genuinely think they're gonna bypass the bloodline to give Oba Femi the future of the fucking company, the King of the Ring, SummerSlam, and the World Heavyweight Championship? Come on, man. No. No. They will not. These people are incapable of making such decisions. Now, Oba can win the tournament and go wrestle Cody Rhodes. I wouldn't have a problem with that either. Cody's fucking boring. He's boring. Every feud Cody's in, referee, screws, Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, Gunther. It's at this point where we're just looking at Cody Rhodes, asking him, bro, just turn heel already. just turn heel already. I just don't see it happening. I don't.
Cody's fucking boring. Owen's family only won. You want to do Owen's family Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes? Cody's
The
fucking
score
boring.
is 1-1. But you've been nowhere to be seen. He comes back, he gets even, he disappears. And he does it in the most underhanded way possible. He cheats, he hits me from behind, he attacks me when I'm not looking. And I get to listen to Paul Heyman talk about what I unleash in the Big Bad Beast. But the only thing I've been seeing for the last 3 weeks is a big bad bitch. So, Brock, you can't stay away forever. When I see you, I will settle the score. Man, half of this promo was about winning King of the Ring, and half of this promo was about putting Brock Lesnar's fucking head on a platter. Sure. Obafemi's gonna win the King of the Ring and win the World Heavyweight Championship, man. Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming.
I think Cody Rhodes should drop that title.
Dominic Mysterio comes on out.
Cody Rhodes is just fucking boring.
Oba, he says, Oba, you don't rule anybody. You see, you're so worried about Brock Lesnar. You shouldn't be worried about Brock Lesnar. You should be worried about Dirty Dom. So let me ask you a question. How long have you been here, rookie? I mean, they're booing the shit out of Dominic Mysterio. They're booing the shit out of this guy. I mean, they're chanting Oba, and they're booing Dom every time he speaks. So they booed him so much, you couldn't even hear him ask, how long have you been here, rookie? Oba's in the ring. I mention it, I can't hear you. You're out here saying whatever, I can't hear you. They're all chanting my name. And then he yelled, how long have you been here, rookie? A cup of coffee. I am a 20-year veteran in this game. I am the king of the luchadores. I am your king of the ring. I will rule over you.
Why would he say his name in the tournament?
Why don't you make this easy for yourself? Bend the knee and respect the stash. Oba shrugs a chair shot off of J.D. McDonough. McDonough came in from behind and blasted Oba in the back as Dominic's talking to Oba. McDonough comes from behind with the chair shot to the back. Oba no-sells it. Oba then punches the chair into McDonough's face. Oba is choking McDonough. He's through the ropes, perfectly positioned for a 619. Oba catches Mysterio midair, and Oba tosses him halfway across the ring. So Oba was preparing for the fall from grace. McDonough pulled Mysterio out of the ring. Obafemi then takes the microphone one last time. He says, hey, Dom, you messed up tonight. We all know Rey Mysterio is your father. Next week, I will introduce you to your daddy. I LOL. I thought that was very humorous. This was a great segment.
Yeah.
Checking the chat here. Hog Dog, can I get a shout out, JD? I love the show, bro. Hog Dog, what's up, man? Thank you for being here. I see you. I thought this was a great segment. Now, it sets up next week. It builds some intrigue going into next week. What is Oba going to have to deal with? He's going to have to deal with the Judgment Day. Is Dominic going to pull out the victory? Will Dominic Mysterio go to Saudi Arabia? There's a chance. I don't want to say that it's 0%. There's a fucking chance. There's a chance. Me, I would have preferred Braun Breaker in this spot. I would have preferred Breaker and Obafemi. This company is so unfun. Oh, we can't give away him.
Let's see that again.
Yeah, you can't give away. I have a bad feeling that they might do Judgment Day in the finals.
Why not? You're gonna have to do it eventually. You're gonna have to rip that fucking that factory seal off eventually. Come on, man. You gotta give me some big matches. You gotta be unafraid of handing out some losses. If you wanted Brock to interfere, you could have did it with Braun Breaker, and it would have made sense. Because they're both Paul Heyman guys. Then you would have played out Braun Breaker and Rollins, where we don't have to fucking keep Rollins in the fucking Vision Vortex. You could have did it in the final and ended it with meaning. And then give give Rollins the SummerSlam match with Roman. Am I losing my fucking mind? I mean, I got a solid idea. I got a very solid idea. But WWE clearly wants to take the long way to get Rollins and Reigns. Rollins and Reigns is happening. It is happening. Why didn't we get there via the tournament? Bro, I swear to God, if Jey Uso wins this tournament, man, I may have to. You people may get another Pat McAfee-like rant. Seriously. This was a good segment. Really, really enjoyed this opening segment. Jackie Redmond. She had a backstage interview with Seth Rollins. Are we done with the Vision now? I mean, I would love for that to happen.
Yeah, because the Vision, like I said, they are dead. Braun Breaker is in a tag team. No one cares about Austin Theory. Did we see Paul Heyman tonight? I don't know, I forgot. Braun Breaker's hurt. Logan Paul's hurt. The Vision, they ain't doing anything.
Clearly not. Seth welcomes us to Monday Night Rollins. Time is flat. Time is a flat circle. Because the last time he was in Paris, he was in fact the World Heavyweight Champion. He was in fact the leader of the Vision. And the Vision was the future, but now the Vision is in the past. The present is the King of the Ring tournament, which he said at this point in the show he will win. And the future is in Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania. If those plans fall through, Oba and Roman is the WrestleMania match. Oba winning the Royal Rumble and Oba picking Roman. The thing is, what do you... See, the problem is, everybody is so hasty on crowning Oba. If you crown Oba at SummerSlam, he would have debuted in January at the Royal Rumble, and he's already the World Heavyweight Champion at SummerSlam. Do you people know that when you ascend the heights that high, the only place for you to go is down? There's nothing else you want him to do. You want to crown him now, and do what? Have him go undefeated? Have him go on a 3-year title run? Against whom? Let's build up to it. You want to crown this guy 6 months in, 8 months in, for the World Heavyweight Championship. Why? The only place that you go is down. Every time someone like this comes along, we got to give him the world title. Why? Why? There are other stories to play out before we focus solely on Obafemi. Rollins getting back the World Heavyweight, or at least trying to. That's a story that you got to see play out. He never lost it. You finally tie up Rollins and Reigns. You end Reigns and Rollins for good. You end Rollins and the Vision for good.
Yeah, it does make sense. I mean, Rollins had to move on from Braun Breaker and the Vision. The Vision is dead. Nobody cares about them. They're doing nothing. Braun Breaker is in a tag team with Austin Theory, who no one cares about. And then do Reigns and Rollins. They've been building this for a while, so move on, end that feud, and then we figure out who beats Roman Reigns. And then that's it.
Then you can move Roman on to the bloodline stuff. Save Oba for next year. Let him get through all this bloodline shit with Solo and Jacob, and then you can focus on Oba winning the Rumble, and then focus on Oba and Roman. Why do we need to do it so hastily? What is with everybody wanting to rush? It worked with Lesnar. Fine. Obafemi's not Brock Lesnar.
Well, that was different. Back in the day, back in 2002, that was way different.
Obafemi is not Brock Lesnar. At least in that era, you had main event guys. Obafemi doesn't have nearly quite as many main event guys to work with. You're going to put him in a position that is doomed to fail because you can't find adequate competition for him. Lesnar, how many main event guys did Lesnar have to work with compared to where Oba sits right now? Don't give me the Brock Lesnar comparisons because it's not the same era. There, they had main event guys. Now, they struggle to create main event guys. We're already talking about, we've already documented on this stream already tonight, that Roman has no competition on Monday outside of Seth Rollins. Because they don't invest. They're afraid to hand out losses. They're afraid to move forward. They don't want to move forward. They have Cody and Punk and Rollins and Reigns and LA Knight, all these other, everybody who's of 40 plus in age. That's who they're focusing on. They are afraid. They don't have it within them. They don't have it within them. Give me a break. Oba is nowhere near Brock Lesnar in 2002. Oba has nowhere near the level of competition that Brock had in 2002. Give me a fucking break with the comparisons.
Yeah.
That is an unfair and ridiculous
Brock Lesnar had way much better competition. He took on bigger superstars. Oba Femi didn't. Brock Lesnar is the only big top star. What is Oba Femi doing on SmackDown? He had open challenger where he wrestled jobbers and local talent, guys who stood no chance to face him. Brock Lesnar is the only big opponent that he's had in the main roster, and that's it.
comparison. You don't need to do it now. Why rush? For a moment at SummerSlam, where do you go? He beats Roman. Who is he going to feud with? Have you asked yourself that question? If Oba Femi beats Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, who does Oba feud with over the World Heavyweight Championship? Brock Lesnar? Who does he feud with? Jey Uso? Jacob Fatu? Give me a break. Give me a break. It doesn't need to happen right now. Creatively speaking, it's not the right time. Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, first round match, Queen of the Ring, quarterfinal. So, Alexa came out, and then Chelsea Green came out, Becky Lynch.
Well, I might well stop the video. I think I made it long enough. Hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. I think I made it long enough. I don't make it too long. But I'll see y'all later.